Happy Monday morning, everybody. Welcome into a new week here on Morning Jocks. Conrad Van Order, Damian Mitchell back with us on this President's Day. I know a lot of you may be taking the day off, and there's a couple people here taking the day off. And you know what that means? It means we're going to do a 4-hour edition of Morning Jocks today. Well, I guess it's called something else for the last 3 hours, but for right now, it's 4 hours of Morning Jocks. So we'll be here with you until 10 o'clock. We've got so much to get on from the weekend, and hope everyone had a happy Valentine's Day and went out and did something special with that special someone over the weekend. And we'll have a lot to recap as we move along here. But Damian, good to have you back. You have everything all good, and this is a big one for you with, kind of like the gap between the, proposal and the wedding and all that. It's
Yeah,
an exciting time. Yeah.
yeah, it was fun, man. We the Valentine's Day, like the actual day, we just chilled. And like my situation is a little bit unique. My girl's getting back from deployment, so like crowds aren't really her thing. Like it has to be something that not to say that Valentine's Day isn't special, but like we're kind of in that mode of we're like you said, proposal and wedding. Like we're in that wedding prep part. So Valentine's Day, not to say it isn't big, but it's kind of like I love you too. We got other things we need to be worried about. So we chilled all day Saturday and just watched. I mean, we watched ball, watched some stuff on Netflix. So like in the grand scheme of it all, I was at peace. Like I relaxed. Now yesterday we had a little fun. We actually went bowling. Just to say we did something in Valentine's
Yeah.
weekend, and we saved a couple dollars. Was competitive, still had a good time. So all in all, man, it was a fun weekend.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Yeah. It's, I don't know, different, but similar for me. I mean, my wife and I have been married for a few years now, but we are moving into a new house in 4 days. So we're like, yeah, what'd you get me? A house. We bought each other a house. That was our gift this year. But we're very excited about that. But yeah, it's hope everyone else out there had a wonderful Valentine's Day weekend, and we will march on. And if you were out celebrating and didn't have time to watch as much basketball, that's fine. We'll tell you everything you need to know about what happened and keep you up to date on what's going on in the world of college football. We are still awaiting an announcement on another SEC quarterback and what their status will be, but we have time to get into all of that because I think we have to start off with what went down in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and not even necessarily as much as the game itself, but as a particular situation surrounding the game and where you go from here is the Auburn Tigers. So if you missed it, Auburn did play Arkansas in Fayetteville on Saturday, and if you remember earlier in the season, Arkansas came to the Plains and Auburn smoked them, absolutely smoked it. The most impressive win, probably on their entire resume, and just in terms of the margin of victory and the caliber of opponent. I mean, it was domination by the Auburn Tigers the first time that these teams met. And so they're going down to Fayetteville, and this is a time where, talking about, just kind of the last week or two for Auburn basketball, like this was a big opportunity again to get a marquee victory for the resume for the NCAA tournament. But unfortunately, before the game was able to even start, you had Stephen Pearl, the head coach of the Auburn Tigers. He went on the pregame radio show, which if you were listening on JOX, you would have heard it right here. And he announced that Keyshawn Hall, the leading scorer for the Auburn Tigers, is going to be suspended indefinitely. And I'll read you the direct quote. This is what Stephen Pearl said pregame. He said, quote, "He's out indefinitely. Key did not live up to the standard and expectations of our program this week. It's been addressed right now, moving forward." And so that comes on the tail of Keyshawn Hall sitting for the last 12, 13 minutes of the Vanderbilt game. And in a game where, I mean, if you're watching it, in those closing minutes, you're going, man, kind of need that cold-blooded guy that you can put the ball in his hands and say, hey, go get us a bucket. And again, I mean, he's your leading scorer. That's kind of the guy that you would look to in that situation. And he was on the bench. And you heard Stephen Pearl say, hey, I thought we had 5 guys out there that were giving us the best chance to get back in that game and win it. And so he sat on the bench. And now clearly not responding well to that message. And I'll say this, during the Vanderbilt game, right, he was over on the bench being a good teammate, hyping people up, dapping people up. It's like, okay, like he seemed to be handling it well. And I guess in the days following that, he didn't respond the way that Coach Pearl wanted him to. And so he decided to sit him down. And so now, as you move forward for Auburn, you just kind of start to wonder, what are we looking at with this guy? And again, he's obviously a great scorer, but there have been a lot of criticisms about him not particularly playing team basketball. He's probably not the guy that's going to make the extra pass. He's not the guy that's going to give you 110% on the defensive end of the court when, it's crunch time. That just doesn't really seem to be in his DNA. And I'll be honest. Look, I applaud Stephen Pearl for doing that because I think he understands he's handicapping his team in doing that. But to send a message and say, no, hey, you might be the leading scorer, you might be our quote unquote best player, but that doesn't mean you're above the Auburn program and the Auburn culture. And to that point, I at least think that is admirable. But before we even get to the game, you have that to start off, and that's definitely not the way you want to start going on the road against a ranked team in SEC play.
Nah, and to your point too, I think that in all seriousness, you can kind of tell that he had a different style in which he played. Like it's a very ball dominant, and again, the talent is there, no question about it. But his body language at times kind of reflected who he was, because I brought up a situation in the Vanderbilt game when there was a senseless turnover between him and Tahad Pettiford, and you see Tahad kind of telling him, "Hey man, come on, like you shouldn't have made that pass on the inbound." You could tell that him and Keyshawn were jawing back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to see cracks in that, and you've seen time and time again just throughout the season, like he's gotten some texts over the season, and I think his mouth probably gets him in trouble in certain situations. Again, this is just me, 30,000-foot view. Like, I don't see him every day, but what I've seen in games, I've noticed that, okay, he's kind of the chirper of the bunch.
Yeah.
So, again, for Stephen Pearl to kind of look at the situation and say, pretty much, I don't care who you are. There's a standard in which we play here. You're not living up to it. We're going to sit you down. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. So, I think, you definitely know how difficult it is, because Auburn's tournament hopes, they're there, but you don't feel confident that they can make a run. And in a situation like that, your leading scorer, the guy that game in and game out, you can lean on. If he is somebody that you have to sit down, then you kind of look at the situation for what it is. And there's somebody that has brought up weeks ago that this team has no leadership. And now this is a reflection of that.
Yeah.
If your leading scorer is getting put down, yeah, there's something within the program that you really need to iron out.
Yeah, I guess they should have gotten in a fight on the jet at the beginning of the season.
So it brought them closer last year.
It worked.
It straightened them out.
I was about to say, sometimes you got to just, you got to tell somebody, I think you're a what, and hey, I think you're one too. All right, let's talk it out and move on. And I think that might have been beneficial, unfortunately, but nonetheless, Auburn, they do go to Fayetteville, and they took on the Arkansas Razorbacks, and Arkansas gets the 88-75 victory there at home. And, man, it was the Darius Acuff Jr. show on Saturday. He goes for 31 points, 7 from 10 from three-point range for Arkansas. He was on one. He was absolutely dominant there. You had Billy Richmond, the third. He had 25 for Arkansas as well, and they kind of led the charge. And again, the guys that you would look to step up for Auburn, they absolutely did that. You look at what Tahad Pettiford does, 29 points. 11 of 18 shooting, 4 of 7 from deep, perfect from the charity stripe, 7 assists. That might have been his best game of the entire season. I mean,
yep.
that's the dude I thought we were getting the entire season. And then you throw in Keyshawn Murphy, 9 for 16 from the floor, 12 rebounds. He gives you 22 and 12. Give me that every night. The problem is, as you heard with Stephen Pearl after the game, it's great when those guys go off, but we kind of need one more guy to fill in that role as well. Keyshawn Hall, right? Seems like that would be a good fit. And he didn't have that on Saturday. And so that's, and I mean, he brought that up. He said it felt like we were one or two guys away from winning that basketball game. One or two guys away contributing on the scoring end from being able to make a difference. Because Tahad Pettiford and Keyshawn Murphy, if you didn't already do the math, they combined for 51 of Auburn's 75 points. They shot 59% from the floor. That's great. Everyone else on Auburn's team on Saturday, they scored 24 points and shot 22% combined.
Yeah, they couldn't find a bucket anywhere else.
No, Auburn made 7 shots that were not Todd Pettiford or Keyshawn Murphy.
That's brutal.
That's it. And yeah, it's again, Arkansas is a good team. You're on the road. Those are the kind of things that you can't really overcome in those types of situations. They're going to be very, very difficult to overcome nonetheless. So I will say this, though. I thought overall the effort watching Auburn play, I thought they gave great effort. Watching them, I'm going, man, that was a good game by Auburn minus Keyshawn Hall, right? If you have that guy, I think this is a very competitive game. And to Arkansas's credit, right, at times, like, it felt like, okay, they're about to really run away with this thing, and then Auburn would find a way to keep, you're like, okay, like you could tell it felt like they were fighting for each other. They were playing for each other on the floor, almost like okay, we don't have him, like, we're going to go show that we can win without him, right? And unfortunately, the way this roster is constructed, you kind of need a guy like that, and not to pick on anybody, but it also doesn't help when Kevin Overton shoots 1 for 13. That's
yeah.
That would be what, about 7%. He shot 7%.
That's tough.
We could do that. I'm sorry, but we could do that.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, I throw up 13 shots. I think one's gonna go in eventually. Just
one of them's got to go.
No, I might need a screen every time so I can get open, but like I feel like I can make at least one. But anyways, yeah, a rough one there for the Auburn Tigers. So they now 14-11 on the season, 5-7 in SEC play, and they will move on to face Mississippi State on the road on Wednesday. But I did want you to hear, this is Stephen Pearl, some of his comments immediately after the game, because again, the Keyshawn Hall stuff, that happened before the game. He didn't really address it a whole lot after the game, just kind of wanted to move on and talk about the game. But this is Stephen Pearl, his comments after Auburn fell to Arkansas on Saturday.
Thought our guys battled tonight. Obviously playing a shorter rotation, heavy minutes for a lot of our guys. Thought, did a good job of, putting out the effort that was required in order for us to, have a chance. Did a good job in the first half of just dwindling it down to 6. And, the beginning of the second half, we missed 3 just, wide open shots, and they come down and convert on all 3. And that was, ultimately where the game kind of got away, got up to 21, and then you're kind of fighting back the rest of the half and the rest of the game. They had a lot of step up. Billy Richmond, has 12 2-point baskets, and, that was a huge point of emphasis for us, is trying to keep them out of 2-point field goals. And, he did a great job for him, and he's an X factor when he can do those things. And then Darius obviously makes 7 threes. So those 2 things right there ultimately where the game was decided. And they just did a great job of disrupting us with some of their ball pressure early, kind of throwing us off balance. And I thought we had some step up from Murph and Tahad offensively. We weren't able to get enough stops to kind of stay in the game, and didn't make enough easy open ones as the game went on.
So there you go. That's Stephen Pearl after the loss to Arkansas. As I said, Auburn going to Starkville to take on Mississippi State this Wednesday. You can hear that game here on JOX. You got 6 games left if you're Auburn. And you got Kentucky and you've got Alabama. Those are going to be, tough matchups, obviously. But, I mean, you look at what else you got. Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, LSU. Probably need to win all 4 of those games if you're Auburn. It would certainly help you out a lot if you won them all. Let me put it that way. So 6 games left to go, and we will let you know the latest bracketology, what people are saying about the Auburn Tigers and their hopes for the NCAA tournament here in just a little bit. But you did have Alabama on the hardwood as well on Saturday. A little bit better outcome there for the Crimson Tide, albeit not as difficult as an opponent, but you will see Alabama and Arkansas this week as well. So we'll break it down for you. Alabama, they get a win over South Carolina. And the latest bracketology, what is Alabama and Auburn? Where are they looking for the NCAA tournament? That's all next here on JOX. Welcome back in. Morning Jocks here on your Monday, President's Day. Hope you're enjoying, if you're enjoying the day off, or if you're at work like us. Appreciate you tuning us in on your drive in this morning. But Conrad and Damien here, we'll be with you not until 7 o'clock, but until 10 o'clock today, as Greg and Cole taking the day off. So we will get an extended version with you today, and John Saber will join us here at 7 o'clock as well. But we have to spend a lot of time talking about Auburn, Keyshawn Hall being suspended by head coach Stephen Pearl, and what that kind of means for Auburn now heading down the stretch and crunch time here as they try to punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament. But you did have Alabama. They were also in action on Saturday at the same time. Both games going on at 7:30 on Saturday night. And Alabama, they get an 89-75 victory at home against the South Carolina Gamecocks. And, I mean, look, the reality of it is South Carolina is not great. They are now 2-10 in SEC play, and they're just floundering a little bit this year. And so Alabama, they went up 45-32 in the first half. They were playing pretty well. And to be fair, it was kind of a combination of two things. I thought Alabama came out flat in the second half, but I also thought South Carolina came out with they had a little juice to them, considering the fact they were down double digits at halftime. And whether it was just shots not going in for Alabama early in the second half, got a little lazy on defense, which we've seen at times this year. It's just, probably wasn't what Nate Oates wanted to see coming out of the half. But when you're able to get a 14-point victory, regardless of all that, I think you will certainly take it. So you had Aiden Holloway. He led the way. He was a slow starter on Saturday, but finished with 20 points overall. He went 4 of 5 from three-point range, and he was perfect, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. LeBaron Philon added in 19 points there. And Latrell Wrightsell, it seems like they've really found the role for him now, coming off the bench the last couple of games. He's absolutely been lighting it up. He had 19 points as well, 3 of 7, from deep for Wrightsell there. So your three guards, I mean, that combines for 68 points. You're going to win a lot of basketball games when you're able to get that kind of production out of those guys. So certainly, some things to be desired. I thought Aiden Sherrill, they clearly had a goal of getting him the ball down low as much as possible. And, could have been better, obviously, from the free throw line, a couple of shots that he could have made, but he still gives you 11.6 rebounds. But I know Nate Oates had some comments about wanting to see him continue to grow, especially without Charles Bediako now, and his role needing to expand. Amari Allen, he only gives you 8 points, but you throw in 10 rebounds, a couple of steals, 3 assists for him as well. So he's kind of, again, that do-it-all guy, I guess you could say, for Alabama a lot of ways this year. And I'm glad that somebody finally said it on the broadcast, because I had people say I was being mean a couple times on three-man front when I brought this up, but I understand you have to have him now from a size standpoint. For Noah Williamson to be a guy that won Conference Player of the Year in whatever league he was in, the Patriot League last year, dude looks like he's never stepped on a basketball court before. Like, he gets the ball in the paint, and it's one-on-one. He doesn't know what he's like. You want me to take a shot here? Like, serious. It's embarrassing. I'm sorry. I know he's a kid, but he's getting paid money to play basketball at the University of Alabama. The kid sucks. I'm sorry. He does. Like, he's awful.
He looks like he's thinking all the time.
Yes.
Like, it's what am I supposed to do when I get the ball at this point? And it just goes away.
Oh.
Like, it doesn't make basketball sense. And I'm with you. It's not like we're sitting up here, we're geniuses, but we can tell the reason when he doesn't play often, and when he's out there, it throws off everything because it just doesn't make sense.
And he doesn't even get rebounds. Like, that's the other thing. Like, if anything, just get boards. Can't do that. Can't do it. Not physical whatsoever. Mentally weak, physically weak. I'm sorry. Bad basketball player. Bad basketball player. That was I'm sorry. I had to get that off my chest. But when they finally started talking about it in the broadcast openly, of guys questioning, like, what is he doing? Like, what is he doing on the basketball court? I'm glad we're on the same page now. That's a rough one. But, he's only on the floor for 4 minutes, so probably a lot of you blinked and missed it, fortunately for you. But Alabama, they get the victory. They're now 18-7 overall, 8-4 in SEC play. Won 4 games in a row now in the SEC. So nice little streak here for Alabama, playing some better basketball. For South Carolina, Meechie Johnson and Kobe Knox, they had a nice night, combined for 47 of South Carolina's 75 points, especially Meechie Johnson, man. He was just later on in the game, it was give him the ball and let him shoot it up, and he did it. I mean, South Carolina got it within, 6 points at one time, and made it interesting, but then Alabama able to kind of go on a run and close that out and get a 14-point victory there over the Gamecocks. But coming up on Wednesday, Alabama will host Arkansas, so that'll be a big-time game there for Alabama. And Nate Oates as another ranked opponent will come in to Coleman Coliseum. But let's hear from Nate Oates. This was him after the game, and this was him talking about the defensive intensity still not being there for Alabama. He's happy to get a win, but this has got to be better.
The one thing I was not happy at all about was our defense on Meechie Johnson in the second half. I mean, he had 2 at the half. We told those guys he's coming. We saw it when he played Texas, and sure enough, he was coming, and he ended up with 24 in the second half, and I went into a good job. I thought multiple guys, didn't play him the way we were supposed to. Guys on the help side weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. We just we've got to get a defensive intensity about us. We're still not there yet on the defensive side of the ball. So we'll keep pushing. We'll keep trying to get better. We got to be a lot better on Wednesday because our Arkansas is a lot more talented team than what we saw tonight.
So there you go. Hey, he's honest.
Yeah, right.
No, if you're South Carolina, oh man, did you really have to throw that in there? You have to throw that in there, but I guess Nate Oates is like, nobody likes me anyway, so I might as well just keep throwing it out there. But yeah, so they get a win there over South Carolina. That's a game you absolutely had to win because no one cares if you win it, but they care a lot if you lose it. So
yep.
That's a good one to get there. Now Arkansas, obviously a big game coming up on Wednesday. Also did want to throw a mention out there because I know some of you have been texting in about it, and it makes absolutely no sense what's going on with the UAB Blazers this year because they hosted Tulane the other day, and they lost 55-54. So if you look at UAB, I've never seen something like this. They are so good on the road, and they are so bad at home. It really doesn't make any sense. It just makes no sense whatsoever. So for the season overall, they're 7-8 at home, 7-2 on the road. Like that kind of thing doesn't happen. If I'm not mistaken, they haven't won a game in conference play at home yet. I apologize if I missed and they got one early in the season, but I believe they are winless at home in conference play. So it's just really, really bizarre. And, you felt good coming off the win at Tulsa. That was a really good win against one of the best teams in the conference. But then you come back home against a Tulane team, and just when you feel like you're getting the ball rolling and maybe getting that momentum for the conference tournament, just coming up a little short at home, 55-54 against the Tulane Green Wave last night. So that's unfortunate there for Andy Kennedy and the UAB Blazers. But we told you we'd give you the latest bracketology, what's going on for both Alabama and Auburn as it stands right now. So we're going to get a bigger update, I guess, today from Joe Lunardi and others around the country. But it seems Alabama still sitting there nice at a 4 seed. We will have the new poll that comes out today. I would imagine they're going to be back in the top 25. But it's fun. It's just funny how college basketball works, right? Because you have a team like Alabama that, they're firmly a 4 seed right now. That would mean they're one of the 16 best teams in the country, but then they're not ranked in the. It's just funny how that kind of thing works in college hoops. But Auburn, the good news is, despite the recent struggles, I'm still seeing a lot of 9 seeds for the Auburn Tigers, and the reason for that is because wherever you look, they either have the first or second toughest schedule in the entire country. Like out of everybody, there's 360 something teams in college basketball. They have the toughest schedule. Them and Alabama are right up there at 1 and 2. And so that's where you can be 14-11 and still have some life for you right now. Because, you look at the net rankings in Auburn, they did fall, but they're at 34 right now. That's not bad at all. They're right behind Kentucky. They're ahead of Texas, Georgia. They're ahead of Texas A&M. They're almost 10 spots ahead of Texas A&M. Now, granted, they've kind of struggled here a little bit lately. But, we were talking to Rocco Miller, the bracketologist on 3-Man Front last week, and he said, Auburn's got some wiggle room, right? When you get into the net rankings area, you want to be essentially 40 and below, right? And that's where you start to feel really good. So Auburn's still got a little bit of wiggle room. But as I said, right, they've got 4 games coming up that they absolutely need to win. And then if you can get one against Kentucky or Alabama, then you're going to be looking really, really good, I think, for the NCAA tournament. So we will have to wait and see. Alabama, for what it's worth, they are 21st in net ranking right now, right behind Arkansas and 1 spot ahead of the Tennessee Volunteers. So that's the way that is looking right now. But still, 10 SEC teams is the expectation. I know Lenardi's saying 11 right now. I think we expect one to fall off here down the stretch, but that's pretty good. Not as good as last year, but still pretty good.
Yeah.
We'll take it. Right?
It just doesn't look as good. It doesn't look as pretty.
No.
Yeah, it
Well,
doesn't look as pretty.
you go, I don't see anybody on the first 2 seed lines, and then you get to Florida. Florida's working their way up there, though.
Oh, for sure.
They are who we thought they were, I do believe. So, yeah, good weekend of SEC hoops, though, nonetheless, and Alabama and Auburn back on the court this Wednesday. But we do have a little bit of college football news going on. We still have the future of one SEC quarterback up in the air. And Alabama, they add yet another wide receiver that you've never heard of, and we'll tell you who it is next here on JOX. Welcome back into Morning Jocks here on your Monday, a President's Day edition here. Conrad Van Order, Damian Mitchell with you as we have been recapping a busy weekend of SEC hoops for Alabama and Auburn. If you're just now joining us, Alabama, they get a victory over South Carolina, a 14-point win there at home. Auburn, they fall on the road to Arkansas and Fayetteville. But the big story there with Auburn is that Keyshawn Hall, the leading scorer for the Auburn Tigers, has been suspended indefinitely by head coach Stephen Pearl. And now we will wait and see what his future is there for Auburn, if this is a temporary thing or if this kind of drags itself out a little bit there. But we will have to wait and see on that. But we got some college football news coming up here. We got some updates, a new addition to the Alabama roster, as well as a little bit of a scary scene yesterday that I got a little bit of clarity on. And I'm sure some of you saw on social media, and I'll try to clear that up here in just a moment. But flu season is still here, and you can make your home healthier with Trane's Clean Effects Home Air Cleaner. It removes up to 99.9% of airborne particles, including those causing virus. It's also 100 times more effective than standard air filters and 8 times more effective than HEPA room filters. So go find a dealer near you today at Trane.com. All right, we'll start off with the newest addition for the Alabama Crimson Tide, because they have, periodically, you'll see them go and pick up a kid. They've gotten a couple of guys from the upcoming recruiting class that they brought in, 3-star guys that are a little under the radar that they're hoping to develop. But now they have gone to the JUCO ranks as Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College wide receiver Tyler Henderson is going to be joining the Crimson Tide for this upcoming season. So he was first-team JUCO All-American this past year. He had 67 receptions for about 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns. So, again, good numbers at that level, but what does that translate to in the SEC? We'll have to wait and see. But, again, depth and I've seen people on social media of, why they're getting all these people that are disappointed at, these are the guys that Alabama's getting now. And I guess that's the easy, lazy take to have. But the reality of it is, right, these rosters are now growing from 85 to where you can have 105 players on your roster. And I think at last check, I was talking with somebody, they think it's around 92 for Alabama right now. But that's where you're filling in the gaps here, right? These are guys that aren't going to cost you a ton of money. They're going to be guys that are hungry for an opportunity. You feel like you can develop them, and you need depth, right? Like that's what this is. And so if, you can be critical all you want, but it's not like this is, instead of getting a 5-star kid, this is who they're giving their scholarship to. I mean, they're trying to fill out their roster, and these are the kinds of additions that they're going to make there.
So I'm guessing you saw the little social media spat by a former Alabama player, receiver to be exact.
Yeah, and it's really funny because he would have been one of these guys when he came out of high school, and he turned out to be a pretty good player, didn't he?
Exactly.
God, some of you got the Reggie Raglins of the world, and then you got the Marquise Masons of the world. Let's just, and I'm, not promoting anybody else's coverage of the program, but the person he was going at does a really good job, in my opinion. So I don't,
I'm with
nonetheless.
I'm with you too. You got to look at the grand scheme of it all.
It's such a lazy. It shows that you're not taking the time to actually think about it and the reality of the situation. You're just reacting to something,
right?
Which is what people do. I get it.
Yeah, and to your point too, man. The college rosters are changing year by year, day by day, month by month. Like they're always constantly changing. And to your point, this is about building the depth. Because, again, what if he does pop up on the map and ends up being the leading receiver? We can look back and say he was doing this in JUCO, and that's the reason why he's on the Crimson Tide roster this fall.
I heard he's a Trinidad Chambliss of wide receivers.
Hey, that's rare air.
I haven't heard that, but that would be pretty sick.
That's rare air.
That'd be pretty sweet, wouldn't it? But, yeah, so there you go. Alabama, they make another addition over the weekend out of the portal. They're from the JUCO ranks. And I did want to share this because I know I saw a lot of people talking about this on social media last night. But Latsier Brooks, he posted a picture on Instagram of him in a neck brace with a caption that said, "God is good." It looked like, I couldn't tell if he was in a hospital bed or what, something else. But it looked like he had gotten medical treatment. And I know some people were getting worried about that. So I reached out to a couple people in Tuscaloosa, and this is what I was told last night. It was that Latsier Brooks was in a car accident on Sunday. It was not his fault, and the neck brace is simply precautionary. It's not anything serious. The team's just trying to, again, take all the extra steps to make sure that nothing gets tweaked or anything like that. But he seems to be all good. It was just from what I understand, again, a minor car wreck featuring Latsier Brooks, but they're just taking precautions and he should be good to go. So I wanted to pass that along because I know a lot of people were bringing that up on social media. And then finally, in the college football ranks, before we get to some of your calls and texts, we have the Joey Aguilar situation, which we left off on Friday. And I'll be honest, the fact that it's going, or I guess it went the way that it did on Friday was shocking to me because it's the Diego Pavia case. And there were no problems with that last year. And so now you have a hearing in a Knox County court from a judge who is a season ticket holder for the Tennessee Volunteers. And then you have the NCAA attorney who also has his law degree from the University of Tennessee and is a season ticket holder for Tennessee football.
I'm sensing a theme.
Just kind of a bizarre, okay, the judge, we all expect that, right? That's how it goes, right? It's just like why Charles Bediako was in a Tuscaloosa court, why Trinidad Chambliss was in a courthouse 15 minutes outside of Oxford with a population of 130 people in that town. You go where, you go where the fans are, right? You go where you're going to get a little bit of home cooking potentially. There was no home cooking on Friday for Joey Aguilar. So I don't know if it was the judge looking at the other situations and going, I have to overcorrect and make it very clear that I'm not a Tennessee fan. But when you have the NCAA attorney finishing his argument against Joey Aguilar, and the last thing he says to the courtroom is, quote, "You're a hero to kids in Knoxville, but that doesn't mean you can break the rules."
That's a mic drop.
Again, feels like maybe a little bit of I know I'm a Tennessee fan, but I can't be biased here. Also, you're telling me you don't have another attorney you could send to cover this case that's not a graduate of the school and also a season ticket holder at that school?
He knows it well.
It's kind of a bizarre situation. And look, I understand because the main argument in this one, right, and how it differs from Bediako or Chambliss or whatever, is the concern that if this happens, kids could go play JUCO football for 4 years and then go and transfer to the SEC and play 4 more years. And so you could have kids that play 10 years of college football because they spend all this time in JUCO ranks and then none of that eligibility counts. Mm-hmm. And I understand the concerns with that. I guess I just feel like those are guidelines that you could probably pretty easily put in place on top of the fact that, I don't know, I guess I just look at everything else going on in college athletics and I'm like, this is really the time that you want to make a stand. It's more so that. You're choosing this opportunity to make a stand in a case where you could argue the same thing about the Diego Pavia ruling from last year and nobody had a problem with that. I guess I look at it as, so we're going to be sympathetic towards poor old Vanderbilt and, oh, well, they just finally got good, so let's let them have some fun. It's fun if Pavia comes back. But now with Tennessee, it's not okay. I think, again, I don't love Tennessee football, but I think it would be more than fair for Joey Aguilar to have the opportunity to play because the precedent has already been set. And that's where I go back to the Bediako case and why the judge ruled the way he did. He didn't want to set a precedent that would potentially change college athletics moving forward. I get that. This precedent's already been set last year with Diego Pavia. It makes no sense to me that now you want to have this moral stand of what's right and what's wrong. And a year ago, well, yeah, we'll give it to this kid from Vanderbilt, but now the kid from Tennessee doesn't get the same treatment. It's all messed up. It's all messed up.
It is. It's unfortunate, too, because and that's the thing. Somebody is going to end up getting screwed regardless because the NCAA they got to put their foot down at some point. And whoever gets stepped on, you're kind of looking at, well, why did we have to be the one to suffer? And to your point, too, it's, well, we saw Diego Pavia have this same argument, and the NCAA was like, okay, cool. Joe Aguilar's kind of, well, what about me? Like you said, what about me? And I don't know. And like you said, it's different from the Trinidad Chambliss. And also, I listened to some of the coverage of the courtroom y'all had on Three Man Front, and it was, as I was listening, I was like, oh, Trinidad Chambliss may actually get this. This his lawyer's doing his thing. And then they didn't even cross-examine him. It was like, oh, like, okay, let's see where this thing goes. And sure enough, he's eligible.
The attorneys didn't even stick around for the ruling.
No.
They left, and we'll see how that kind of goes because the judge made that known that's can't do that.
Like now they're in contempt of court.
Really bad look, but I mean, they were like, well, they have to go to Knoxville and cover this case, but it's okay. That doesn't.
Right.
That's not how that works. It's been bizarre, and I'll be honest, right? Like I feel like we're all kind of learning this together as we're trying to piece this together. I didn't get into this to be talking lawsuits. All right, I like talking ball. I don't like talking about lawsuits, but it's a big thing. You kind of got to now because it tells the story of what's going on in college basketball and college football and just college athletics in general, honestly. So it's a bizarre time that we're living in now, but we're waiting today. Maybe we will get a official ruling because we didn't get it on Friday with Joey Aguilar. So hopefully sometime today that decision comes down and we'll know whether or not he will be able to play for Tennessee this upcoming fall. So that's kind of your college football roundup from the weekend as we get closer and closer to spring ball. So before we know it, right, it'll be spring practice, A-Day, and we'll be getting ourselves hyped up and talking smack and all that good stuff here in the college football world. But we want to hear from you. A lot of you chiming in with your thoughts this morning on Alabama and Auburn hoops. Some of you chiming in with Alabama and their roster changes. So we'll get to you. 205-834-9450. We'd love to hear from you on the courtesy GMC text line as we roll along here on JOX.
6:52 here on Morning Jocks. Damian and Conrad here with you, not just for a few more moments. We got the whole next 3 hours as well, as we'll be filling in for McElroy and Kublik in the morning. So we want to continue to hear from you, 205-834-9450. Let me tell you about our friends at Hometown Roofing and Restorations. Trust the experts with your roofing needs. With over 1,200 roofers in the Birmingham area, make sure you can call someone you can trust. Hometown Roofers is family-owned, grounded in faith, and community-oriented. Their customer satisfaction focused with your needs in mind. You can count on honest communication. Guys, the goal is to get it right the first time. If it's an insurance claim, call Hometown and they'll take the ball for you, so they don't have to worry about any of the red tape and back and forth with the insurance company. Only top quality materials. Hometown is certified with 2 of the best national brands of shingle, and they offer lifetime material warranties. Financing is also available. What if you have an aging roof or roof damage? Hometown offers free inspections, rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. They can also handle siding, windows, gutters, and minor remodels. Give them a call at 205-984-4777 or visit htroofers.com. Again, that number is 205-984-4777 or visit htroofers.com. Hometown Roofing and Restorations. Do it right the first time.
And as Damian said, we'll be with you here for the next 3 hours after this, as we'll be joined by John Saber here at the top of the hour, and we will march along. And I have a feeling we'll be spending a good bit of time talking about Auburn basketball and the situation with Keyshawn Hall, as he's been suspended by head coach Bruce Pearl. And that's what a number of you are chiming in on the Courtesy GMC text line. And that's where we will go now, as Jamie, this is both barrels right here. The Auburn job was way too big of a job for them to start with nepotism. Auburn should have gone outside the program and bought in a basketball coach instead of Bruce Pearl coaching from the third row of the bleachers in Neville. Steven is not a Division I basketball coach. He needs to start at a school like a Samford, a Montevallo, maybe even a UAB before he can get up and be ready for a job like the Auburn one.
Well,
I just read them.
Yeah. Well, tell us how you really feel, Jamie.
I just read them. Let's see. We have Doug. He says, was Auburn going to win the conference or a title with him? He will leave at the end of the season anyway. I mean, fair.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think in terms of, well, let me put it like this, right? If this ends up being the difference in you making and not making the tournament, that's not going to make that's going to be a problem. That's not going to make a lot of people happy, but
Yep.
I mean, no, you probably weren't winning a title with him anyways, but still you're paying him money to come there and play basketball for you. You want to get something out of that, and you want him to compete at a high level. Don. Oh, Don's not doing well. Good morning, guys. Auburn's basketball team is in serious trouble right now without Keyshawn Hall. I respect Pearl for suspending him. No one player is more important than the team. Next year, hopefully, he can get some better bigs to help out. 6 games left, and it looks like we could be on the bubble now. All right, so you know how last week somebody said Kalen DeBoer was like Timu Dabo Sweeney?
Yeah.
So Dan texted, he says, Auburn has Timu Bruce Pearl now.
Oh, gosh.
Well,
they double down.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, 3 more hours left to go. We're up next.